All right, let's go ahead and start this meeting at 6:02, 6 o'clock. Bring your computer. Let's see, welcome to the Park and Recreation Commission regular meeting, January 18th, 2024. The time is 6 o'clock. Becky, can you please call roll?
Commissioner Cabrales,
Yes.
Commissioner Emerson,
Yes.
Commissioner Gutierrez, or Chair Gutierrez,
Yeah.
Commissioner Pasternak,
Yes.
and Commissioner Sandoval.
Here.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, agenda item number 1, approval of the regular meeting minutes. Did anybody have any questions on the minutes? Comments? Okay, then let's go ahead and get a motion to approve in a second.
Approve. Second.
All right, thank you. Did you get that, Becky?
I did, thank you. All right, Commissioner Cabrales,
Yes.
Commissioner Emerson,
Yes.
Chair Gutierrez,
Yes.
Commissioner Pasternak,
Yes.
and Commissioner Sandoval. All right, motion approved, thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any members of the public online?
We do not, and we're not doing public comment anymore online.
All right, that's it.
Yeah, we, a couple of months ago, I believe it was in November, we made that change. Unfortunately, a lot of cities in the region have been experiencing Zoom bombing, a lot of hate speech, a lot of things have happened, and so for the time being, we're just not taking public comment online. But people can, if they want to participate, they can email us, they can submit comment beforehand, and we'd like to make sure that those comments get read.
All right, second item, number 2, special presentations. There are none. So number 3, review of the annual commission work plan. What are we gonna do? Oh, that's next. Okay.
We
Perfect.
decided to give you
Perfect.
one last hurrah
Okay.
here before we do the voting, and I was like, should we do that
Wonderful,
first?
thank
We
you.
did a second, but we.
Well, I
decided
should
we would-
redo that.
Yeah, we would put it second,
Move
so,
on to review of the annual commission work plan for 2024.
yeah, so I'll pull it up here on the screen in just a moment so we can share it, but I did bring a draft of the work plan, I believe, at the November meeting to kind of give you an idea of what we're thinking. Received some comments and some feedback at that time, which we tried to incorporate into some of the revisions. So let's see if I can pull that up. I think I described the staff report, but I'm gonna grab the actual work plan. Hold on just a second. Yes. And Becky, I'm going to share this in just a moment. Okay, Becky, can you see that?
Yes, I can, thanks.
Great. All right, so I'll make just a couple comments and then turn it over to any of you. We're very open to making changes. So again, I think we really want to bring topics that are important to you. We also have some things that are obviously important to us as staff and to the community. We want to make sure we bring forward. So one of the things that I mentioned in November was we were talking programmatically about how to bucket some of these reports to make sure that we're not over-reporting on some routine things that maybe there haven't been frequent changes to. We don't want to bring a report just for the sake of bringing a report. We want to make sure that it's topical, that we're bringing it to you because either there's a decision that needs to be made or we feel like it's really important information for you to have. As part of that conversation, I had a meeting with our recreation leadership team and we talked about some of our routine, like our community center reports, our community gardens, Falkirk, the Sanderville Community Center. And looking back at the last several years, there haven't been significant changes on an annual basis to those. So we're proposing bringing some of those routine program reports on a biannual basis every other year, rather than doing that on an annual basis. That's also partly in response to the fact that we just have a lot of work on the agenda this year that we think is important that we bring your way. So it's also just being sensitive for everyone's time at these meetings. That being said, if we did have a significant change, something that did require a decision, we could add that to the agenda. So if there was a program, for example, here at the community center that was new, that we really wanted feedback on, or we needed to bring you something for a decision that's a community impact, we would of course add it to the agenda. So that's the general thinking here. Kind of going through the year, we do have certain groups that have agreements with the city. So for example, Marin Bocce Federation and San Rafael Girls Softball. We have use agreements with them that do require them to report out annually. And so those will continue to be on the agenda annually as part of our work plan. We're hoping that by March, we should have 100% design set for the Piccoli Park project. And we've asked the design team to return at that time to share an update on what that plan will look like. And hopefully provide additional information about the timeline and schedule for construction for that project. On a biannual basis, we've talked with our Department of Public Works about bringing a parks maintenance and project status report. We have those scheduled for April, and I believe in let's see. Is that September? Yeah, April and September, we would be bringing those reports. So it's a chance for you to hear about the capital projects taking place, kind of get the big picture. Here's all the different projects that are in planning, they're in construction, or they're a future project that we're working towards. In addition to that, I think Cicely, you had shared that it would be great to get an update on the citywide park and recreation plan, the status of the work that we're doing there. We agree. So we added a topic in July, the citywide park and recreation master plan update, to really hone in on that. I think there might be some duplication in some of the capital projects, but there's other things. There's policy decisions, there's program decisions that won't be captured there. So we're going to try to package a report to share an update on and status at that time in July. A couple other notable changes as we were looking at the calendar. We have proposed in May that we would do an on-site parks tour to take a look at our tennis courts and maybe add additional locations that are yet to be determined. We started the pilot program for the tennis court locks. We removed the locks there, and we thought it would be helpful to have you to tour around, take a look at the current tennis courts, the status of those, get a little more information about those before we return to make decisions on whether to continue that pilot program or make changes to the program. Generally speaking, I think that's been going well, but we have had some questions and some comments that have come our way about that program. So we're hoping in May and June that we'd be able to hone in on that. And then we would be dark in the months of August and December. That's been kind of the historical precedent that we've set. It seems like it's really hard to schedule meetings both of those months. We would be looking at hopefully bringing a Peacock and Gap play area design, a final review in June. And hopefully we will be bringing a Terra Linda Park and Community Center plan to you in October as well. Those are two projects that we're currently working on. So I think it's kind of a high level review of what we're hoping for. Of course, this could change. I think you sometimes have to flex months or shift things around based on what's happening. Would take some feedback or guidance from you as well. Sometimes things get added because we really just need to add things. With that, I think I'll turn it over to Commission for any discussion, comments, or questions.
I'll just say, I think it's thoughtful, the additions you've made, given the comments that we provided last meeting, so I appreciate it.
Question?
I'm happy to see another onsite. I thought that was really helpful. I hope we continue to do that as needed basis, because it really is good to see it, and talk about it in person.
Thank you. That's great. We're oh, sorry.
I feel like I'd like to see more reporting on the parks. I know that, this is the Park and Recreation Commission, and I think you all do a great job on recreation, but the parks have advocated again, I think need more attention, and I'd like more accountability into what's happening. And so I would vote for a quarterly review of parks, not just every 6 months.
Okay.
If that's possible. you know, I'm like the old person that like, was here when we used to have someone come report at every meeting. And I think that the parks need more attention and accountability in terms of their maintenance.
I can definitely share that. I think our Parks Director, actually, Public Works Director, I should say Parks Director, but Parks is under their purview. I'll share that with them and their team. I do think that it's going to be sensitive to staff capacity and ability to make it to every meeting, but I think quarterly is possible. I think what we noticed when we had the quarterly meetings is that there was a lot of duplication. With some of the work that they do, sometimes it takes several months to see some of those updates hit. But I will share that and we'll see if we can potentially add that in.
And I just want to add that I think that's part of the problem. I don't think DPW should be controlling park staff. And so the parks in the winter don't do so well because the staff is pulled to clean rain gutters. So I think that's something for the city to consider as far as dedicated park staff year round. So it's my piece.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I think we're all supposed to receive that, so we'll move on to selection commission chair and vice chair.
Real quick, I think we would be, I think, a motion
Oh, okay.
to accept or approve.
Then let's do it. Who would like to move to approve?
I move to approve this.
I'd like to amend it to have the request for more frequent park updates. Is that okay, everyone?
Motion to
Motion to amend the calendar.
approve the report with the suggested amendments.
We can vote on my amendment, to approve my, I think. I know my Robert's rules.
Second? Or are you the second? No.
And I motioned.
Is that for quarterly?
Do I have?
Is there a second?
I'll say.
Becky?
All right. Commissioner Caballas,
Yes.
Commissioner Emerson, Chair Gutierrez, Commissioner Pasternak,
Yes.
and Commissioner Sandoval.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Motion approved.
Thank you. All right, next. We need to nominate a new chair, vice chair, and Hippolyte Advisory Committee representative. Should we go in that order? Let's do it.
And I'm just gonna pull up the staff report as a point of reference, if there's any questions about any of those rules.
Okay.
These are up to 4-year terms for the commission appointment. For the chair and vice chair roles, this will be a 1-year appointment to that term. Typically, we do the voting in December. We deferred in December since we didn't have everyone here, decided to push it to January. So technically, this term, I think, still would be starting the month of January to run through the month of December. We voted in December.
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Corrales for the chair position. Great. A motion in a second. Do you accept?
I accept.
How does that Do we vote? That's, I think we do vote, but that is based on our conversation from last time, and I reached out to Commissioner Corrales in the meantime. And confirmed she was interested, so that was speedy. We're ready, Becky.
Do we have a motion and a second? Will you motion? Do we have a second? I did miss that.
Yes, Commissioner Emerson.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So Commissioner Caballas,
Yes.
Commissioner Emerson,
Yep.
Chair Gutierrez, Commissioner Pasternak, and Commissioner Sandoval.
Yes.
All right, great. Motion approved. Congratulations, Kayla.
Yeah.
Well, I think I hand it over right now, or do I keep going?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, you're on it.
Oh,
You're
God.
good. You need to edit it. Yeah, the script.
Okay,
We need a vice chair.
yes, where are we on your?
Um,
Okay, so now the next thing is we need to have a selection of a vice chair. Does anybody have a nomination?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll nominate myself.
Perfect.
Yeah. I currently serve as vice chair. I've enjoyed it. I've worked with Commissioner Cabrales on a number of things and also enjoyed that, so I'd love to serve as vice chair again.
Great. Well, I will second that nomination.
All right, Commissioner Cabrales,
Yes.
Commissioner Emerson. Can we go back a little bit? Chair Cabrales,
No.
Oh, no. It's very fast.
Commissioner Emerson, Commissioner Gutierrez, Commissioner Pasternak, and Commissioner Sandoval.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion approved.
All right, so I think now we need to have a nomination for the Pickleweed Advisory Committee representative.
Share just a little info about that committee. Have any of you served in that role before or attended the Pickleweed Advisory Committee meetings? Would you like to share at all, like what those meetings are all about, the focuses?
Sure. They meet, I'd say 4 to 6 times a year. It's not a ton. The meetings are similar to these. They review the activities and sort of facility needs, concerns at the Pickleweed Center. The Pickleweed Advisory Committee itself is comprised of, I think they're down to like 5 to 7 members. It used to be very large. I think they whittled down a little bit, community members on that committee, and it's a very diverse and interesting and fun group. Steve Mason, the director there, or recreation supervisor
Yes.
at that site, is always running the meetings. Yeah, they do a lot of consideration of the programming that goes on. Say that takes up the majority of the time of those meetings. Considering who's getting rental space for programs and activities, and how to decide who's getting rental space and programs, and the associated production and fees. There's a lot of fee reduction programs. It's great.
Yeah, I think the fee reductions.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the right
Co-sponsorship.
term, but
Well, our co-sponsorship
Yes,
program,
thank you.
city council has approved, at Pickleweed Park and the community center that. The city could approve up to $140,000 annually of, fee waivers for co-sponsored programs. And so the Pickleweed Advisory Committees, in part responsible for reviewing those proposals and helping to approve who, gets those funds on an annual basis. So kind of a cool role for them to be in, and has built some really good community partnerships. And I believe those are, their bi-monthly meetings. Next meeting will be February 7th. Those are held at 7 p.m. down at the Pickleweed Community Center, the Borough Community Center.
I'm happy to be a backup, but until I'm done with another volunteer role at my school, which will end in June. I can't take any more night meetings myself, unfortunately. So. Take over in June. So
How long do they usually?
some can be longer. A lot of, at most, but some can, yeah, at most, the presentations from groups. Can often take a bit of time, and there's a lot of discussion, but not all. I think they're working on streamlining it.
I can attest to that as well. I think one of the things that I have asked that group to do is, particularly for the co-sponsorship programs, there is a lot of information that's usually attached to those agenda packets. Trying to work this year to really consolidate that, make the decision making a little easier for the committee members.
And are they always held on the same day of the month type of thing?
Yeah, I believe they're Wednesday
It's a
nights.
Wednesday.
Yeah, so I think it's the second, is it, Becky, you may know better than me. I think it's the third Wednesday of the month, every other month.
I don't remember off the top of my head, to be honest, but I thought,
I think
and I just had it up on my desktop before we started. Let me see here. Let me look at the last one and I can let you know for sure. So that was October 4th was our last meeting. So it's the first Wednesday.
first Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Oscar, I want to make sure it's Z.
That's right.
Oscar, no, is that right?
Yeah, if you are available as a
I could be a backup.
backup, then I.
I
think that-
enjoy it. It's a
Accept
really
that.
great group.
That's the nomination.
Yes.
Okay.
Accept it.
1 second.
I'll second.
All right, Chair Cabrales,
Yes.
Commissioner Emerson,
Yeah.
Commissioner Gutierrez,
Yes.
Commissioner Pasternak,
Yes.
and Commissioner Sandoval.
Yes.
All right, motion approved.
Thank you. Oh, sorry.
Thank you. I was gonna say that too.
Sorry.
I'm glad you said it. Okay, so the next agenda item is the staff liaison report. At this time, I would like to invite the city staff to share their report.
Well, I think I have a fairly brief report tonight. We're gonna have a quick meeting this evening. I did want to share just a couple of upcoming events. We've got our fall Kirk exhibit. We have the winter invitational is ongoing right now, started January 13th. It runs through February 24th. So I encourage you to go check out the artwork up there. Our next city council meeting is Monday, February 5th. This past Tuesday of this week, the Age Friendly San Rafael Partnership presented and shared an update on the work that they were doing. And it's great to give council an update on some of their programs. So had a fun meeting on Tuesday. The next couple of months, we're looking at getting the community center plan, the design agreement to council. So that will either go February 5th or February 19th to council for their approval. We had interviews and did make an initial selection that we're recommending to work with for that plan. In December, the Peacock Gap design, we are working with RHAA, that was approved by city council. So we're moving forward with that, and hopefully we'll have a kickoff coming soon for that. Second Friday Art Walk is February 9th. We made a slight change to our calendar when we do program registration for our spring and summer programs. We're kind of aligned better with kicking off our summer registration a little bit earlier. We decided that we're going to work with the date of March 6th for all of our program registrations for summer. Our next edition of the activity guide should be coming out shortly before that. It might hit before our next meeting. I think we'll probably hit just after our February meeting, but just as an FYI, in case anyone is asking about program registration, that's coming in early March. Also in early March, I'm putting this on your radar now, the Age Friendly Community Partnership, they're doing the celebration for community members age 90 and better. That's happening on Sunday, March 10th. So if any of you are interested in attending that or helping or volunteering, they're always looking for help and support. I think last year we had around 150 people that showed up with their family and caregivers. It's here in the auditorium. It's a really fun program. So if you have any interest in that, or you know anyone who might be interested in helping support or to donate food or time, you can send them anything. I mentioned Pickleweed project. We're at 95% design right now for the advancement project there at the park, and making some good progress. We're kind of in the last stages of refining that scope of work and making sure that that's represented in the plan. And we are hoping to kick off construction this year in 2024. So it's still a little work to finalize that with environmental review and Ridgeway rail nesting seasons and BCDC final permits, but we're making our way through that process right now. The San Rafael Bull Mares that operate in this building, we've had an agreement with them where over the past few years, it's kind of flip-flopped who provided the program coordination. At times, the Bull Mares were responsible for that and had an individual that they employed, and at times the city provided an employee. One of our program coordinators dedicated about 50% of their time. The Goldners opted to hire their own coordinator for the next year. So we've gone back and forth. We've done it different ways. We're going to try it this way for a while and see how that goes. So they just hired a new coordinator named Maury Vermont, who has experience working with Bivilon, the San Rafael Chamber of Commerce, has a lot of connections in the community. And we're really excited to have her on board helping support that program. So she just started in December, and I just wanted to share that and welcome her to her new role. Also hired a new program coordinator up at the Falkirk Cultural Center to support that program, as well as our community gardens. Some of you may be familiar with who actually used to work here as the program coordinator for the community center. It's Patty McCulley. Patty stepped away from her position here for some family reasons, and timing is now right to step back into a new role. So we're really excited to have her back. She has years of experience in recreation program. So welcome to Patty. And also just another shout out to our childcare team. They were awarded the team of the quarter for Q3 2023 from the city. Real excited for them to get that acknowledgement and that award. We had a kind of celebration here in the lounge where the mayor and the city manager came in. There's this giant trophy with, little like plaques and names of the different teams, the individuals who have won that over the years. So they're passing that around to their childcare centers right now. And it's a very well-deserving team. I don't remember the specific statistic, but I may have shared it in the last meeting. I think that there's like 23 full-time employees and have more than 400 years of combined experience working in childcare. Really incredible. On that note, the senior supervisor there, Kelly Albrecht, just shared with us recently that she is going to be retiring this year. So we're kind of looking ahead and planning for a recruitment for a really critical role for our childcare programs. So as soon as that recruitment is ready to go up, I'll be passing that along to you as well, in case you know anyone who really wants to help support the childcare programs. And those are the updates that I have for you tonight.
Thank you. Are there any comments? Questions?
I have a question. Do we know who was hired at TL in the board supervisor position? I assume you would
It's a
have
good
said their
question.
name if it's, but was someone hired?
Not yet,
Okay.
not yet. So we had a really limited applicant pool. We decided to repost that recruitment. That just went up again this week. So we are continuing to accept applications for that position. So if you know anyone who's interested, definitely send them my way. And thank you for the reminder. I did mean to mention that because we are still actively recruiting for someone who, we don't have to have a strong aquatics background, but that is a large part of that job. We'd be happy to train someone or bring someone in who has interest in that as well. We've got a great team over there. I do know that a lot of our lifeguards who worked for us last year are excited to return again this year. So we're feeling pretty good about the staff team, but we need that coordinator position to help us really make sure that we've got a solid program. So I know I see some aquatics people up here who may have some connections. So
And I just wanted to comment, I know they finally opened the Falkirk parking lot. Did that closure have a big impact on the operations up there? Like, did we have trouble getting rentals and stuff when it was closed for a few months?
That's an interesting question because I don't think we have any strong like data to support one here. Of course, we had renters that did ask questions about use of that lot. We worked with our parking services team to provide a whole bunch of other access to the city hall lot. The staff parking area there after hours was opened up and made available to rental groups. And then there's the other lots that are kind of in proximity. So I do know that lot was used pretty heavily by some of our weekend rental groups in the past, and I'm sure that they're going to be excited to have that opened up again. But I wouldn't say it was necessarily like a severe impact.
Thank you. And then I can't remember where we can find a copy of the master plan.
Yeah, it's on the website.
Okay.
So if you just type in San Rafael Park and Rec Master Plan,
That sounds doable.
it should pop up for you. And there's a link to the whole document, the master plan itself, as well as the appendices that have the supporting community outreach and other information. And I can send that link out to the group as well, so you guys can see this.
And do you have anything more about, like, I know you forwarded the letter from the architect group that was gonna start trying to get it on the ballot. Do you have any more updates on that or?
Not beyond what was shared in that email.
Okay.
And I would encourage you to contact Cheryl Lentini directly, who sent that email.
Mhm.
I'm sure Cheryl would be able to fill you in with a lot more information about what the foundation has been doing, the process from here, and what some of those next steps.
Okay. Yeah. I
You
did-
could
I
also,
did reach out to her.
send an email to Catherine Kupa, our director. She's much more actively involved in that project. So if you wanted to touch base with her and learn a little more, she would also be able to share. But I would say that Cheryl Lentini or individuals that are on the Library Foundation, they'd be the ones who are going to have the best first-hand knowledge. Yeah.
Would that be this?
Oh, I'm sorry, that's the question. Go ahead.
I was gonna ask, would that be the same people to contact, relating to the Northgate, what's happening in Northgate? Because I know that they just released the updated plan of that, and that seems to keep pushing the, if we're gonna have a library at that location, that, like, they're saying up to 2040 is like when the next, round of construction will happen, so.
Yeah, I know that, so the Northgate project would not be, I don't think anyone from the Library Foundation has any direct say in what happens in that Northgate
Right.
project. And of course, there's a lot of community meetings and feedback that the development team is receiving. So I think the foundation probably would be able to speak more to maybe a specific conversation about the library and whether or not that can happen there.
Right,
But in regard to the development, I think totally separate. views. So,
right.
Right. Yeah, but I would say the foundation, they would have more information.
My question was more, and I think I know the answer, but I just want to double check, like, we as commissioners don't have any conflict of interest in advocating for the library foundation. Right?
I'll ask about that.
I don't think so, 'cause we don't have a financial interest in the city or anything, right? But I just wanna
Yeah.
make Sure, because I'm all in, but I wanna like just make sure.
Yeah, I was actually
Me as
wondering
the
that too,
commissioner,
yeah,
Right.
because I wanted to be a part of helping make that happen, but
Yeah.
also not be in some.
Yeah, just like what are the parameters is what we can do as a commission, so I think we're generally in support, but like wanna know like what is,
It's a good
Yeah.
question.
yeah.
And I don't want to, I don't want to assume, I have my initial, perspective on what that answer probably is.
Right.
But I think given the, the complexity of some of these different ballot measures that go up, I want to make sure that that's informed too. And so what I'll do is I'll ask that question and try to get you a specific answer and follow up to make sure that you do have some guidance on, what can you say, what can you do
Right,
to advocate or to be part of what the Library Foundation is doing. So, so yeah, it's a great question. It's also a really good time to ask that question, since this will, if the Library Foundation decides to move forward, it'll be a citizens-led initiative. We will also have as city employees, very specific ways that we can engage with that and or contribute to any of those plans moving forward. So I'm very careful about what I say in situations like that, and I appreciate the questions. I'll get you that feedback just.
All right, any other questions or reports? Then I think we're adjourning, that's my take on this. Okay,
We've officially called it.
the commissioner.
Yes.
Okay. Other brief reports on any meetings or conferences attended by the commission members. Does any of the commission members have a report they'd like to make? I went to Sun Valley Park and checked out the new park, so yeah, it was really nice.
was that there?
Yeah, it was. It's very nice. Okay, then now we're going to be adjourned. The meeting is adjourned at the time of 6:35.
Shortest meeting.
Good.
Excellent job.
Thank you.